The fundamental issue at the heart of all economic thought is unlimited wishes versus limited resources. The question for governments, local authorities, and businesses is, how can you manage this tension as efficiently and effectively as possible? And this is basically the problem regular people face as well. How can I manage my money to live the best life possible without running into crippling debt? Now, you might have noticed that countries and individuals prefer to satisfy some of those wants in the short term rather than waiting for the long term when it would be more affordable. To do this, money is borrowed and as a consequence debt is created. And debt isn't necessarily a bad thing, it can actually be a useful tool to achieve a goal, if it is carefully managed. Think about money, for example, borrowed by local authorities to build vital schools and hospitals in your area. However, there are two problems with the whole process of borrowing and the creation of debt. Number one, all humans are hardwired to want things now, not later. Instant gratification is a well understood concept in psychology. Whenever we get what we want, when we want it, our brains release a neurochemical transmitter called dopamine. This neurotransmitter is responsible for our feelings of pleasure and gratification. In evolutionary terms, this makes a lot of sense, because as a general rule, getting what we want when we want it is more likely to lead to our survival and the survival of our genes. The problem though is that even when we know borrowing money for the now might be bad for us, the urge to self-gratify simply overwhelms the rational part of our brains and we end up in situations we later regret. Number two, the system encourages debt, even at the expense of the economy and the individual. Banks and financial institutions make money off your debt. Politicians and governments benefit from amassing debt by spending on initiatives which gratify the electorate in the short term and motivates them to re-elect the same politicians and governments in the medium term. So it's no wonder why it's so easy for anyone to get a credit card these days, or a mortgage, or why governments around the world run up truly massive debts through public spending. Debt stalks you, me, and everyone you know. It lurks in the shadows, whispering for you to do its bidding, and tempting you with the promise of pleasurable experiences. But, despite this, you should never forget that you call the shots, and you have the power to restrain, trip up, and to ultimately banish debt from your financial life. So the next time debt threatens to stalk your life, remember that you are the boss, and go tell it where it can go. We hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos on all things finance, simply give a tap to that subscribe button. Until the next time, stay cash bright.